perfection of wisdom is here stated as the great perfection, not bad for first century. The Lord, tell what you think, Subhuti, in what manner is perfection of wisdom a great perfection? Subhuti, this neither makes form, solidity, feelings, sensations, perceptions, experiences, will, volition, and consciousnesses, states of mind, greater nor smaller, and does not assemble nor disperse form, etc. This also neither strengthens nor weakens the powers of Tathagata, nor does this assemble or disperse these. This does not even make all knowledge greater or smaller, nor does this assemble or disperse it. For all knowledge is unassembled, uncollected, and undispersed, undisturbed. In the event any bodhisattva perceives even this, one course is not in perfection of wisdom, so how much more so if one forms the notion, thus do I, endowed with cognition of all-knowing, demonstrate Dharma to beings, thus do I lead these beings to final nirvana. For this apprehension of these beings is a basis fact, for when one says, I lead these beings to final nirvana, this cannot be an outcome of perfection of wisdom. This indeed is a great basis of apprehension on one's part. For the absence of own being in beings needs to be known as belonging to the very essence of perfection of wisdom. One needs know this perfection of wisdom is without own being in the same way in which beings are without own being. Also, perfection of wisdom is unthinkable, because beings are naturally as well. Also, perfection of wisdom has an indestructible nature because beings do as well, and perfection of wisdom taken as it naturally is, does not undergo any process which leads to enlightenment as well, for beings, as these are naturally, do not undergo such a process. Also, this way in which Tathagatas arrive at full possession of powers is understood as the way in which beings arrive thus at full possession of their power. It is in this manner which perfection of wisdom is the great perfection. Chen. Causes of belief in perfection of wisdom. Sariputra, Bodhisattvas reborn here, resolutely believe or have direct knowing in deep perfection of wisdom without hesitation, doubt or stupefaction, here these decease and enduring beyond any duration do these practice. These ones following this doctrine of perfection of wisdom understand its meaning, and instruct others in it both by any method which reveals the meaning and by any method which reveals the doctrine. The Lord, thus it is, Sariputra. One can know this as such bodhisattvas are reborn here as decease in other world systems in which one honors and questions Buddhas, the Lords. Any such bodhisattvas as decease in other world systems in which one honors and questions Buddhas, the Lords, are reborn here and upon hearing this deep perfection of wisdom being taught, identify perfection of wisdom as teacher, and are definitely convinced beyond even such questions one is face to face with one's teacher, such a one can know one sees the teacher. As perfection of wisdom is being taught, and as one listens attentively, pays respect to this even before one hears this, and does not cut this story short, such a bodhisattva is known as one practicing for long, even beyond duration. And as well, one herein honors many Buddhas. Subhuti, is it at all possible to hear perfection of wisdom, to distinguish and consider her, to make statements and to reflect about her? Can one explain or learn such as because of certain attributes, tokens or signs this is perfection of wisdom, or such as here this is perfection of wisdom, or over there, that is perfection of wisdom? The Lord, no indeed, Subhuti. Perfection of wisdom cannot be expounded, learned, distinguished, considered, stated, or reflected upon by means of any or all skandhas, nor by means of any or all elements, nor means of any or all sense fields. This is a consequence of fact. All dharmas are isolated, absolutely isolated without any basis, as said and known. Nor can perfection of wisdom be understood other than by the skandhas, elements or sense fields. For just the very skandhas, elements and sense fields are empty, isolated and calmly quiet. Without basis, it is thus, Subhuti, as perfection of wisdom and skandhas, elements and sense fields are neither many as more than one, nor even one, nor one divided. Again, without basis, as a result of emptiness, isolatedness and quietude these cannot be apprehended. The lack of a basis of, or for apprehension in any and all dharmas, this is called perfect wisdom. Whatever, wherever, whenever, or however pure cognition reveals no perception, appellation, conception, contrivance or conventional expression, hereof one speaks perfection of wisdom. Subhuti, for how long is any Bodhisattva known as one who practices, who makes endeavors about this deep perfection of wisdom? The Lord, one must make one's own distinction in this, owing to the unequal endowment of different Bodhisattvas. Causes and consequences of disbelief. It is quite possible some Bodhisattvas, although perhaps seeing or having seen many hundreds, many thousands, many hundreds of thousands of Buddhas, and have led and continue to lead the holy life, in any present time may nevertheless have no faith in perfection of wisdom. The reason is now as whenever, some have no respect for this profound perfection of wisdom as it is taught, even in the presence of Buddhas and Lords. Wherever might be a lack of respect for this is also in like measure a lack of desire to learn more about this, a lack of honor recognized in this, and thus a lack in faith and unwillingness to ask questions. Lacking in faith, these hereupon walk out of assemblies. It is just because in any past these have produced, accumulated, piled up and collected karma conducive to the ruin of dharma that also at any present these walk out when this deep perfection of wisdom is being taught. From the lack of respect, without faith and firm belief in perfection of wisdom, these lack also in accord either in body or in thought. Lacking in accord these do not know, see, recognize or make known this perfection of wisdom. First, any such as these do not believe, and so do not hear, so as to not see, and hear these do not recognize this and thus produce, accumulate, pile up and collect karma conducive to the ruin of dharma within these lives, any and ultimately all. This in its turn will bring about karma conducive to weakness in wisdom. This in its turn will make such as these refuse, reject and revile this perfection of wisdom while it is being taught, and so rejecting this will walk out. But by rejecting this perfection of wisdom these reject the all-knowledge of Buddhas and Lords, past, future and present. Not content with having vitiated merely their own continuities, so too these as if all aflame, deter, dissuade, turn away others also, beings of less intelligence, seemingly less wisdom, merit and wholesome roots, endowed with but a little faith, affection, serenity, and desire to do, beginners, essentially unqualified, trying to take away even what little faith, affection, serenity and desire to do may be present. These bid one not to train in this, and finally declare this is not the Buddha's word. These first vitiate and estrange their own communities, and even those of others. Hereby these calumniate perfection of wisdom. To